When none of his 4 children wanted to come home, this elderly man decided to travel across the entire United States to visit each of them. Every time he met with one of his children, he would ask them the simplest of questions.
You happy?
Yeah, of course I am.
Hearing that his daughter was living happily, the old man's eyes filled with relief. So when he faced his eldest son, he hoped to receive the same answer.
And you're happy?
Happy? Yeah. I get paid to bang a big loud drum all day. Of course I'm happy.
But this time, the old man sensed something wasn't quite right from his son's expression. The hesitation in both children's responses revealed they weren't truly happy at all. To figure out why his children were unhappy, Frank arranged for all 4 kids to gather for Thanksgiving. But on Thanksgiving Eve, his eldest daughter called to say she was too busy with work to make it to tomorrow's dinner. Though Frank's heart was heavy with disappointment, he still held on to hope. After all, he had 3 other children. However, when he checked his voicemail, he discovered messages from his other kids. Every single one of them used work as an excuse for not coming home. Frank's emotions were all over the place. What could he say? Should he blame his children? All he could do was bury his hurt and disappointment deep inside. It had been 8 months since his wife passed away, and the kids hadn't been home once since the funeral. When their mother was alive, the children would tell her everything. Now, they barely called him at all. Frank simply wanted to know if his children were happy. Standing in front of the mirror, Frank made a decision. He would travel across America to visit all 4 of his children. He didn't tell anyone, just wrote 4 letters to his kids. He wasn't sure how long he could keep going, because Frank was a retired electrician whose years of hard labor had left him with occupational health problems. The doctor had patiently told him to rest at home, not go on long trips, but he ignored the doctor's advice. Throughout the journey, he couldn't help showing fellow passengers photos of his children. His eldest son was a music conductor, his younger son was an artist, his youngest daughter was a famous dancer, and his eldest daughter was a corporate executive. Whenever he talked about them, Frank beamed with pride, though he rarely mentioned himself. Through hard work, he had raised 4 successful children. A day later, he arrived at his younger son David's apartment door, hoping to surprise him. But no matter how long he rang the doorbell, no one answered. On Thanksgiving Eve, he could only sit alone outside the door waiting for his child to return. Eventually, Frank had to leave disappointed. In the middle of the night, an old man walked silently through the empty streets. But as he passed an art gallery, he saw a painting in the exhibition hall with his son's name as the signature. Perhaps his son had become famous and was out celebrating somewhere tonight, so Frank didn't feel too upset. The next day, he returned to the apartment. This time, a kind neighbor helped him get inside. Breathing heavily, he struggled up the stairs with his heavy luggage. Full of anticipation, he knocked on the door, but there was no response. Frank suddenly felt a mix of hurt and disappointment. He had no idea where David was or if he was okay. So he left his first letter and boarded a bus to his next destination to visit his eldest daughter. After several days of travel, Frank finally reached his eldest daughter's front door.